Okay, so today we're going to practice a little bit working with the formula for velocity. And so I've gone ahead and I've written the formula here. So velocity is equal to distance divided by time. Remember, another word for velocity is speed. And remember, the only difference between speed and velocity is that velocity has a particular direction, down the road, to the right, something like that. So we can kind of most times think of speed and velocity as the same thing. And remember, if you're talking about a speed that you're going down the highway in your parents' car, say, hey, Dad, how fast am I going? Well, I'm going 55 miles per hour. Okay? He's not going to say I'm going 55 miles, and he's not going to say I'm going an hour. It's always going to be some amount of distance. Usually they're going to say miles per some amount of time. Most times he's going to say hour. Well, in science, most times for the distance, though, we're going to use meters. And instead of hours, most times in science, we're going to use seconds. This is still a distance. Meters is still a distance. We measure the length of something with meter sticks, and seconds obviously still measure time. So most of the times we're going to talk about velocity in meters per second. Okay. Now to get started, let's do an easy one. Let's say that we want to find the velocity of a cart that has gone 11 meters. That's the distance. And the time it took to do that was, let's make it easy. Let's do 1 second. Okay. Well, let's set up our equation. So remember, velocity is equal to distance divided by time. Okay. So we have our distance, 11 meters, and we have our time, 1 second. So the velocity then is equal to 11 meters per second. So this is how we write the unit in the end. Okay, we don't have to write it this way. We can just shorten it and write meters/seconds for meters per second. Okay, that's kind of easy. Everything was given to us. Let me set up another situation here. So one day, my grandmother escaped from the nursing home. And my grandmother has really, like Popeye-like arms, huge arms. She can really push the wheelchair very, very quickly. So I know that her top velocity, because she's done this before, her top velocity is going to be 5 meters per second. And that's actually really fast for a wheelchair. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I want to find a place where I can kind of catch my grandmother so we can get her back to the nursing home. And so I know that from the time she escaped, the time that has elapsed is going to be 60 seconds. It's really fast response time. Okay. So I want to find a place where I can catch my grandmother 60 seconds after her escape. And I know that she goes 5 meters per second. Well, the real question is, how far, right? How far away do I need to be? What's the distance that I need to set up my little trap at? Well, we can use math to figure that out. Okay? So if we start our equation and we plug in what we have, we'll say that, remember, well, let's write the equation first off. So velocity is equal to distance divided by time. Our velocity is 5 meters per second. And that's going to be equal to some distance divided by the time. Remember, down here, the time is 60 seconds. Okay? Now what I want to do is I want to solve for the distance. And in order to work on that, I need to get distance all by itself. Okay? I need to get it away from the influence of time, and I need to keep it away from the influence of velocity. So how do we do that? Well, remember, if I multiply 1 to each side of the equal sign, does it change anything? No, it doesn't change anything. It's still going to be whatever it was before. If I multiply each side of the equation by 60 seconds, kind of running out of room here. If I multiply each side by 60 seconds, I haven't changed the proportions of the equation. Both sides of the equation get the same treatment, so they're still equal. The difference is over here, this 60 seconds over 60 seconds is basically like 1, isn't it? So we can just say that these things cancel each other out. And so what we have is 60 seconds times, I'm going to write this a little different, 5 meters per 1 second. You'll see why I do this in a second. No play on words there. The seconds cancel out, right? Because they were on top and bottom, so we can cancel those out. And this just becomes 60 times 5 meters. Well, 60 times 5, get out your calculators, is going to be 300 meters. So that's going to equal the distance. So to catch my speeding, escaping grandmother, I need to, oh, she still has feet. I need to set up my trap 300 meters from the front door of the nursing home. So hopefully that helped.